Can you arrange these words into a correct question? In today's lesson, we're going to look at how to make questions in past simple. Hello and welcome to another video. My name's Alex. In today's lesson, we're going to find out how to make questions in past simple. So we're going to look at questions with the verb be, and then we're going to look at questions with other verbs as well. We're also going to look at how to answer these questions with short answers, the grammar of that. We're going to talk about different things about how to make these questions, and also I'm going to give you some practice in making these questions as well. So make sure you watch right the way until the end so you can learn as much as possible. Okay, let's get started. And to start with, we're going to look at questions with the verb to be. Okay, so if I put up part of a question like this, he at work yesterday, how could we make that question? We know it's past because it's yesterday, so we have to use past simple. There's no verb here yet, but we have to use the verb to be. So can you make that into a question? If you want, you can pause the video just now and try to think about it. Okay? But the answer is, was he at work yesterday? Okay? So we need to use the verb be in the past, and the correct version of it for he is was. So was he at work yesterday? And we start with the verb to be because it's a question. So if this was a positive sentence, it would be he was at work yesterday. But we changed the order of these things to make it a question. So not he was at work yesterday, question, but was he at work yesterday, like that. Okay, and how do we answer that question? Was he at work yesterday? If we want to have short answers, we can say yes, he was, or we can say no, he wasn't. Yes, he was, no, he wasn't. Okay, so we're using yes or no, the person, the pronoun, and then was or wasn't. We start the question with was, so we need to use that in the short answer as well with the correct form for the person. So we can't say yes, he worked, for example. That doesn't work. Yeah. So we say, was he at work yesterday? Yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. If we look at another example just now and say, you on holiday last week. You on holiday last week. So how can we make that into a past simple question? Again, we need to use the verb to be in the correct form. So the last one was he at work yesterday? Is it going to be the same here? Have a think about it, pause the video if you want. But the correct answer for this one, you on holiday last week, is were you on holiday last week? Were you on holiday? Because the person has changed. So not was you, but were you? So were you on holiday last week? And how can we answer that question? So we could say, were you on holiday last week? Yes, I was. Again, we need to change in the question. It's were you, but you're answering the question for yourself. So it'll be yes, I was, or no, I wasn't. So remember, we need to change the form of be in the past depending on the person. So if we look here at these examples, we say, was I, he, she, it at work yesterday? So if we want to use I, he, she, or it, then we use was. And same with the short answer. So it would be yes, he was, yes, she was, yes, it was, yes, I was, all of those things. So depending on who you're talking about, the person in the short answer as well. So it'd be was I, he, she, it at work yesterday? And then we've got the structure for making these questions. If the person changes, like this, we say were, you, we, they, on holiday last week? Were you, we, they on holiday last week? Okay, so that makes sense. You know, if we're using you, we, they, we need to use were. The structure is the same. We're just changing the person, and we're also changing the verb depending on it. So we use was with I, he, she, it, and were with you, we, they. Okay, does that make sense? So let's practice this a little bit. I'm going to give you another couple of prompts, and I want you to try to think of how to make the question for that. Again, feel free to pause the video once I put it up, so you can try to make the questions. You can write it down and make this a little bit more interactive. Okay, so our first prompt is like this: they tired last night? Question mark. They tired last night. So how can we make that into a question? Think, you know, we're using the verb be because we have the adjective tired, and which form? We've got they, so we need to choose the correct form of to be in the past for they. So the correct answer is, were they tired last night? Were they tired last night? Okay, we're using were because it's they, and we're starting with there because we're starting with where, sorry, because it's a question. Were they tired last night? And the answers, possible answers, short answers, yes they were, or no they weren't. So were they tired last night? Yes they were, no they weren't. Did you get it right? Let me know in the comments. Okay, and another one. It a good day. It a good day. For example, yesterday, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the past here anyway. Okay. It a good day. Again, feel free to pause if you want to write down the answer. But here is the correct question here. So was it a good day? So we're using it, which means we need to use was instead of were. So was it a good day? Answers, yes it was, or no it wasn't. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments. I'll get back to you. And now we're going to move on, and we're going to look at other verbs in past simple questions, not just the verb to be. Okay, and please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future lessons. I have 2 lessons, sometimes 3 lessons every week with live lessons as well. So you can find out all of this information on my social media. So follow me on that as well. Okay, so we looked at the verb to be in the past and making questions with that. So now let's talk about other verbs and how we make the questions with them. Okay, actually, this is a little bit easier because there are less changes to make. So let's have a look at our first example. So if I ask you to make a question with this, you walked to work this morning. Okay, so I want to make a correct past simple question with this, you walked to work this morning question. How do we do that? We only need one more word on here. So what is the word we need at the start here to make this correct? So it is, of course, did. Did you walk to work this morning? Did you walk to work this morning? So notice this is past, it's a past question, but we're using the infinitive of the verb. So it's did you walk to work this morning, not did you walked. Okay, did tells us that it's the past. So we don't need the past simple of the verb. So did you walk to work this morning? Okay, and the answer to this, remember with the verb to be, we used was or were in our short answers because we started the questions with that. So how do you think we can make the short answers here? So it'll be, did you walk to work this morning? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, as simple as that. Now, did doesn't change for the person, like was or were did, or do or does in present simple. So it's always did. It doesn't change for the person. So we can see the structure here. Did I, you, he, she, it, they sleep well? In another question. Did I, you, he, she, it, they sleep well? So it never changes. It's easy to make it. We need did, we need the verb in there, and that's it. Simple. It always stays the same. Okay, if we want to make these questions a bit more complicated or to add things to them, then we can add question words. Okay, so if we add question words, what I mean here, these question words, what, where, when, what time, why, how, who, all of these words. Sorry, I just can't read my writing here. All of these words, we can add these at the start. So for example, we could say, what time did he leave? So we've got the verb infinitive, we've got the infinitive without to, of course, we've got did to make the question, but we've got these question words which we're going to put at the start of the sentence. So what time did he leave? What time did he leave? Another example could be, how did you get there last week? How did you get there last week? Okay, we've got last week, the time reference at the end of the sentence. So that's something that you should remember as well. Time reference, let's put that at the end. So how did you get there last week? Okay, so let's practice these past simple questions with other verbs, not with be, a little bit, okay? And I'm going to put up some words which are not in the correct order to make questions, okay? So you have to take these words, you have to put them into the correct order and then try to make the question, okay? So the first one that we're going for is, their house did your parents when buy. Okay, so I need you to put those in the correct order and try to make a correct sentence from them. Okay, again, feel free to pause the video if you want to write it down, but I'm going to give you the answer just now for those of you who are quick, or for those of you who have just unpaused and came back to us. So the correct question here is, when did your parents buy their house? When did your parents buy their house? Okay, let's have a look at the second one. Where work your father did? Where work your father did? Okay, so that's not a good question. Put it into order and make a correct past simple question. Okay, so the answer is, where did your father work? Where did your father work? Okay, we have two more. So the third one is, did what you last night do? Did what you last night do? So can you put those words into the correct order to make a good and correct past simple question? So of course it is, what did you do last night? So here we can see the question word at the start. We've got did to make a past simple question, and then last night at the end of the sentence. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so it is, did go John today swimming? Did go John today swimming? Can you make that into a question? Okay, so it is, did John go swimming today? Okay, so it's, did John go swimming today? Did John go swimming today? How many did you get right out of 4? Let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy today's lesson? If so, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for future lessons. I have lots of videos and playlists, especially for elementary students, with grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation, so please check all these things out. Also, follow me on social media. I have a Facebook group, Learn English with Alex. Feel free to join it so we can interact. about learning English and about the lessons and everything like that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.